Finding purpose in addiction. Oftentimes, I found myself drowning in shame over the choices I've made. The paths I took, the substances I used to numb the pain, all seemed like a spiral into darkness. It's easy to get lost in that darkness, to feel as though I'm beyond redemption. But what I've come to realize, through all the tears and the heartache, is that those bad choices, those moments I regret the most, serve a greater purpose. It's difficult to see that when you're in the midst of it, when the weight of addiction bears down so heavily that you can hardly breathe. I've been there, feeling like the mistakes I've made have defined me, marked me as unworthy. But God, in His infinite wisdom, doesn't see it that way. God doesn't waste anything. Not a single tear, not a single mistake. Every wrong turn I've taken has been a lesson, a step toward understanding the depth of His grace. I've come to see that my addiction, as destructive as it was, had a purpose. It was part of my journey, not just to break me down, but to rebuild me into something stronger, something more aware of His love. When I was deep in my addiction, I felt disconnected, not just from the world, but from God. I thought I was too far gone, that I had done too much to ever be worthy of His love again. But God doesn't work that way. He doesn't turn His back on us when we fall. Instead, He reaches out, even if we can't see it at the time. My addiction taught me humility. It taught me to rely on a power greater than myself. It was through my lowest points that I truly learned what it meant to surrender. And in that surrender, I found God waiting for me with open arms. Every mistake, every bad decision, became a part of my testimony. It's easy to be ashamed, to wish I had done things differently, but I can't change the past. What I can do is use it. I can take the lessons I've learned, the pain I've endured, and use them to help others who are struggling. God has shown me that there is purpose in my pain. My addiction was not the end of my story. It was a chapter that needed to be written so that I could understand the fullness of His mercy. It was in those moments of brokenness that I found strength I didn't know I had, a strength that comes from knowing that God is with me, even in the darkest of times. I've learned to stop hiding from my past and to embrace it instead. Because it's in those scars that I see the evidence of God's work in my life. He took the mess I made and turned it into something beautiful, something purposeful. So, I no longer see my addiction as a mark of shame. It's a part of who I am, a part of the journey that brought me closer to God. And if my story can help even one person see that there is hope, that there is redemption, then every bad choice I made was worth it. God has a plan for each of us, and sometimes, that plan involves walking through the fire so that we can emerge refined, stronger, and more aware of His everlasting love.